Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Sideline Talk podcast. What a week of football! What a weekend last weekend to digest for Arsenal. Double blows for Chelsea and Man City. We're going to be talking about it all, but make sure you do smash that like button and hit the subscribe if you are new to the channel. Samuel, obviously the sun has been shining this week. It's Friday, it's the weekend. You're off to Wembley Sunday. How are we feeling, buddy?
Mate, I'm excited. I'm excited. 9 points clear. Everything's
Yes.
looking good.
Come on.
Potential
Same for the
first one
people at
of
the
the
back.
quad. First one of the quad comes Sunday, mate. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. We can't help but smile, mate. Can we?
Yeah, I fucking love it. I absolutely love it. Apologies for the swearing, but you know what? I'm not going to apologize. We've waited this long to be
Yeah.
this happy and this excited. It's been a long time. We've come out the trenches. You know, me and Sam were just off air talking about the Conquer Out protest and how far we've come from that. So, but yeah, it was a great week indeed. Starting off with obviously last week with the Max Dowman show. What an unbelievable talent we have got on our hands. Yeah, I mean, I was at the game. I thought the majority of the game was bloody boring as hell. Really hard watch. Um, and then luckily, this 16-year-old lad comes on and steals the show. What a talent. Still to complete his GCSEs, but a monumental moment and potentially a title winning season for Arsenal. But yeah, give me your thoughts on him, buddy.
I mean, obviously, I weren't there, so I can't speak for probably what the atmosphere was like. But you could sense a shift in energy, and it seemed like they all trust him. They all want to give him the ball. I'm not saying he's the complete package yet. He's a young man. Let's tone it down a bit. Let's not put the pressure on him just yet. But wow, what a way to state your name in the league. I mean, he's been around the squad since he's been what is it 14, 15?
Yeah.
Just goes to show they trust this kid. This kid's got something about him. I mean, I long hope he stays at Arsenal for many years to come. Just like to see if we can, it's a big if this league gets wrapped up a little bit earlier, let's see what he can do. Let's get him out a bit. I mean, we saw him in the Morecambe game, didn't we? But yeah, I think I want to see a bit more of Maxi, man. I think it's nice to see that he hasn't gone for his regulars. He could have actually easily have pulled off Jesus off the bench there, played it
Yeah.
safe, or anybody else like that. But no, he took a risk. It worked. I mean, it was the pressure was all on Arteta in that moment. Let's be honest. No one would
100%.
ever berate Max Dowman for not coming on and doing well at that young age. But yeah, I think you'll be able to probably touch on it. It looked like he gave the whole place a lift.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, the match was, like I said, a bit nervy, and until his introduction, which was one of the best substitutions I've seen from Arteta. Like you said, it was a very bold move, but he was an instant game changer. Obviously, he had the assist for the Gyökeres goal, and then to take the second goal the way he did, like, who are you? Who are you putting Everton players on their arse? It was brilliant. I don't think I've had many better moments in the Emirates than that. The scenes were absolutely incredible. You almost felt like we'd won the league then. I'm not saying we had, but you always felt like something was going to happen after that. The fans just had huge momentum, and this was before obviously what happened after the game with the West Ham Man City result, which we'll touch on in a bit. But it was such a moment, not just for Max Dowman, but Arsenal in general. Um, I will say this: I think I think we need to be. Some people need to be careful on the expectation of him, though. I've seen a lot of noise about him this week, and I think we should learn our lesson from previous experiences where a lot of weight has been put on these young players' shoulders, and the expectation is so high, you can only get disappointment from that. I think he's going to be good, and I think he has the potential to be incredibly special, like really special. But I've heard a lot of noise and stuff, and I'm just thinking it's just calm down. The guy's not even played an hour of Premier League football. He's done well. We like what we've seen from him. Let's just hope we continue to see it and go from there. But yeah, what an afternoon down the Emirates. I've never enjoyed a game like that for a long time. I'd like I was a season ticket holder for 3 years ago,
Mm.
and through all that season, not once was I as happy as I was on Saturday after that moment. But yeah, super Max Dowman, fair play to him. Let's just hope it
He seems
keeps
a humble
going.
kid, doesn't he? I mean, like I said, I mean, just the way he comes across. What's so shame is obviously with his age, you can't come out and do the interviews and everything. I would have loved
This
to have.
is it. So I think it was like Declan Rice who was saying you can't believe that he's how young he is. Like he walks around the dressing room with the first team, and you just wouldn't believe that he's 16 years old. And that alone just says a lot about him. But the composure on him as well. We saw it against Everton. I'm sure we're going to see it in other games. It would not surprise me if we see him come on Sunday. If we're in a good enough position or we need a spark, don't be surprised if Mikel Arteta uses that again. He's going to
Mm.
have all the confidence in the world. The fans are going to be behind him. If he comes on Sunday afternoon at Wembley, all those fans are going to absolutely uproar. Um,
It's a shame he didn't
Obviously,
put him on in that Champions League towards the end. You know, the game was kind of done there and stuff. I
yeah,
thought,
yeah, yeah,
it's a shame
yeah.
he
I
wouldn't
think
have given him that either. But I know, one record
I,
at a time. Yeah.
I think it's one like it's chalk and cheese, isn't it? Because he can either like he can use him and use him and use him, and then you might start thinking, okay, well, but I think he's just waiting to use him in the moments where it's like, right, now you've got to come in and prove yourself again. Even though he's proved himself early, I don't think Arteta wants to think too much into it. He's still a young lad at the end of the day, and I've never known a 16-year-old to have this much, not pressure as such, but this much to look forward to and enjoy and experience. And as long as he does that, and we obviously all hope he does, then fair enough. But yeah,
Haaland's done it again.
yeah, I'll end again. M1 is obviously out on loan at the moment, but hopefully he's watching Bayern thinking, right, I need to come back and show myself
Yeah,
because
pressure's
he's
on
going to
him
have
now.
even more competition with the likes of Saka now, Max Dowman, Madueke. But yeah, who knows? I think it's just brilliant to see something pay off for us for once. It's been a while since we've had something pay off, but that did. And obviously, we are 9 points clear from that win, which we've got to touch on. I'm gonna I'm gonna bring up the elephant in the room. We've spoke now, Sam, a couple of weeks about whether it's done yet, where we're sitting, how we feel. From my point of view, I've been saying that the fat lady is singing. I think she's now clearing her throat. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I can agree with you on that. I don't want to be the one to put my neck on the line just yet. I mean, we've been here many, many times, maybe not this close towards the end of the season where we've been this clear, but we've been burnt a lot. And I think we're just all as Arsenal fans, the right thing to do is take it game by game. Maybe, give us after till the international break. We come back, let's see what we do then. Then we'll start to think, what is it? I think is there 7 games, 8 games left? I'm not too sure
Eight
off the top of
games
my head.
left for
Yeah,
them. I think we have seven now. Yeah,
7. Yeah, if we can contain this lead up to the City game, then let's
yeah,
see what happens.
yeah. Big game
I ain't
for them.
afraid. Let's just have it right. We've got
Yeah,
nothing to be afraid of. This will be a good test on Sunday. Let's test the waters. Let's see where we're at. Let's see if maybe they'll come out and attack us for once instead of sitting back and waiting for us to do it to them. Let's see what they've got. It's a massive test that we can
yeah,
use going forward into the league. It's not City of old. We've spoken about this so many, many, many times before this season. I don't think we have anything to worry about. It's in our hands. Let's just not do an Arsenal.
yeah, yeah. I mean, we've got 7 games left. Realistically, we need to win at least 5 of them. I would say, which I'm confident we can do. City have obviously got the game in hand, but we're going to touch on Chelsea in a little while. I know they go to Chelsea, and that's going to be a huge game for both clubs. If Chelsea can, for once, do us a favour, oh, it had to be bloody Chelsea, didn't it? The one team we're reliant on, then who knows? That could be the break. We obviously play Bournemouth at home. You'd like to think that's going to be a comfortable result. I know it's not always plain sailing, but you'd like to think. But
The home games do play in
yeah,
play in our favour, mate. But again, I think a lot of it, as with the Everton game and stuff, the fans need to get on it early. Let's give them that energy. Let's get behind them because, all right, you can see that they're leggy, they're tired, etc., and stuff like that. Lot. We need to get behind them a lot more in the atmosphere. I mean, you could probably say it a lot more because you were there. Like I said,
mm,
it just seemed like everyone's starting to get a little bit nervous,
yeah.
and that's probably transpired onto
60
the pitch.
minutes of a nil-nil, and all of a sudden the fans not turn, but panic. Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
which is natural. There's so much on the line. We haven't been in this position for a long time. I mean, I just think that it's just, yeah, let's not let that seep in. Let's do our bit.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, we'll see. And I mean, you touched on Sunday, and I do want to bring that up before we move on to other teams. And like you say, in theory, it is a bit of a six-pointer, just in the way of what that could potentially do as a knock-on effect. Because Manchester City now, they've obviously come out of the Champions League during the week. Big pressure on them. They're going to want to lift a trophy this season. So they've had the West Ham draw, they've had the defeat from Real Madrid, and now they're probably sitting there thinking, right, we want at least one saving grace in this season. The Premier League's looking unlikely, not guaranteed to go our way, but looking unlikely. The FA
Mm.
Cup, sure, maybe, but they've got Liverpool. That might not necessarily be a guaranteed victory either. They're going to be in a position where they now go all guns blazing even more than they would have originally done so. I was a bit nervous for it anyway. I'm even more apprehensive now. But yeah, what's your thought on Sunday's game before we touch on other teams?
It's a 50-50 flip of a coin, isn't it? Let's be honest. I mean, I wouldn't say that we're favourites. I wouldn't say that they're favourites. I mean, I think you got to pay the respect. I think Pep's probably won this the most in recent times than any other manager. He's always taken this seriously, hasn't he? So credit to them. Everyone laughs off of this competition until you're in it right at the end. I think we've got a great opportunity to make a real statement here, saying, "Yeah, all right, okay, it's us and you. Let's go. Let's see what we're doing." But yeah, it's gonna be a nervy one, mate. I just think if we can get over the line, get that done, get that in nice and early, that will do us wonders going forward. If we were to lose it, again, it's up to Mikel to get him back up and
Yeah,
get him back on the training ground, get him all pumped up, ready to go again after the international break. But I just don't, I don't, I don't feel this has much of a complex reaction as people are making out if we were to lose it. Obviously, I want to win it.
yeah,
But yeah, again, let's just see how it goes. It depends on the mannerism of if we were to lose it. If we go out and get
exactly.
fucking
Yeah,
pumped, then
yeah. I think that's a
I
good
can
point
understand.
actually. But the thing is the momentum. Like it could go either way. You could go like you say, you could go and lose, and it might make you think, right now we need to go absolutely all in for the Champions League and the Premier League and the FA Cup, or it could swing another way where it knocks you down. The knock-on effect is huge, which is why I mentioned the six-pointer, because I think even for Man City or us, whatever way this result goes, it's going to change some way or another
Mm,
the next couple of games for them. I think the international breaks at a hideous time as well. It's got to be said. I know the World Cup is coming up, but this couldn't be a worse time for teams like Arsenal, City, and even the likes of United, Liverpool, and Chelsea are in a huge top four race. It's not the time to have players going out and playing for your country. You kind of need them resting wherever they can. And going from the announcement, doesn't look like we're going to have that many players having rest. So we will see.
you shocked that White didn't make the England call up?
I think it must just be based on the fact that he's not playing. He's only
Even
played.
Skelly, he always
Yeah,
trusted
Skelly
Skelly
was
as
a big
well.
shock to me actually, just based on the fact that he's young, hungry,
Can play
and
multiple positions.
yeah, and Tuchel's liked him before as well. I was shocked that neither of them were called up in a
Mm,
35-man squad. I'd expect one of them, and yeah, Ben White would be a good experiment. That's what this is for at the end of the day. 35 men you get to take there. He's taking the likes of Jason Steele. Like, why not take an experiment? Why not take a gamble? Ben White isn't necessarily a gamble either. He's a well-proven player, and the only reason
yeah,
he's not touched base on England is because of previous problems. Now's the time to take him. If it don't work out, it don't work out. But yeah, it was a bit of a wild decision. Like he's got no Reece James, not called up Trent. Ben White is still missing. Doesn't make any sense to me. Jed Spence would be laughing. I mean, he's in a Premier League relegation side, and somehow he's getting called up for England.
it's
But
mad, honestly.
yeah, it's mad. But yeah, I was a bit shocked. It's a good point actually. But yeah, speaking of six pointers, Tottenham host Nottingham Forest this weekend on Sunday, just before our game. Obviously, got a good point at Anfield. Um, to be honest, wasn't sure what to make of that. Liverpool have been, they've been a bit red and blue. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. They had a great win in the Champions League midweek, but you just never know what to expect. Richarlison, he just seems to turn up in these big times, like big moments. All these big games, he seems to just be there and do something. Didn't take his shirt off though, but yeah,
Yeah.
what's your thoughts on
Uh,
Tottenham against Nottingham Forest? This is a big game for them, isn't it?
yeah, that's the thing. I just think that there's so much riding on this, and obviously me and you have spoken previously about how much we want them to suffer and go down and stuff like that. Like, I wouldn't care about the derby if they were to go down. That's not in my thought processes at all. Do I think that they've probably got just enough to deal with this? Yeah, probably. As much as they're in a bad run of form, mate. And like I said, they've been stuffed in the Champions League. But again, that probably will give them a little bit of a bonus that, you know, they did actually play all right once they realised that they can't play that keeper the way they did. But yeah, we'll see. I obviously I'd love them to get something, not to get anything out of this game, but I fancy them to do Forest, mate. To be honest with you.
Yeah, yeah, agreed. Yeah, it's too big of a game for them to lose. I think. I think when they got that point at Anfield, I feel like Tudor probably felt like he could breathe a little bit. You know, you've not done amazing, but you've got a point at Anfield. Not many teams have done that this season, realistically. Not that are in their shoes anyway. Take that. You've got the fans a little bit back on your side. You know, you've kept the door open on a little bit longer. Now I feel like a win against Forest is the right way to yeah, to get it over the line. To be honest, I think a win against Forest will ease them off, and there's other teams in it as well.
If they
But
were
yeah,
to lose it, though, you know, that will really put them on the pressure there. I mean, you're just going to touch on this. I don't think they played that badly against Liverpool, to be honest with you, as well. I think, you know, that was probably their best performance of the season.
mm, yeah, Liverpool were. They just went back to. It's weird because they started picking up points and stuff like that, and
Mm.
I thought started thinking, oh, Liverpool are getting there again, and now I feel like United are just in dreamland because Liverpool are not a team to be
You don't know what you're going to
really
get, do
worried
you?
about.
You have no
Um,
idea what you're going to get from them.
No, like I don't envy Lee, and I said this to him the other day. I would just not enjoy watching Liverpool anymore. It's just too much of a heart. It is a bit similar to how we used to be.
Mm.
You would never know whether you're going to get a screaming 4-0 win or a nervy watch of a 1-0 first half, panicking that they're going to get a second half equaliser, which is exactly what happened here. I don't even think Tottenham really even needed to play well to get a point here, to be honest, from what I saw anyway. I'm
Yeah.
not saying they played badly, but I think they got a result quite comfortably. I don't feel like they did too much, but it's a massive, massive point for Tottenham, and it ended up being massive 2 points dropped for Liverpool because obviously we know that United went on to beat Villa, um, and Chelsea thankfully lost as well, which they'll probably be thankful for because it keeps them a little bit still in it. That top four race is starting to really heat up and get a bit exciting. So a good point for Tottenham, and yeah, I think they're going to go on and get 3 points this weekend, which yeah, it's going to be huge. But we'll talk about UCL because it's been a big week. Four English teams gone out. I want to get your thoughts on like. There's been a lot of chat about why this has happened, basically. And to be honest, I think a lot of it's kind of. Hang on a minute, they weren't exactly playing, you know, the the rough end of the competition. You know, Tottenham had Atletico, Man City had Real Madrid, Newcastle had Barca. It's
Mm.
like some of those games you kind of look at and you think, right, like they're going they're not always odds on. They're not going to be the favourites to
Yeah.
win it. But there's been a lot. I know we usually touch on Premier League, but I just want to get your thoughts because this season there's been a lot of talk of how boring the Premier League has got. There's no quality. It's not that hard anymore. It's not difficult. It's not entertaining. You know, there's been I think up to like 20 nil-nil draws in the league this season. Do you think maybe this has like a reason and maybe a knock-on effect as to why Premier League teams are not playing as well in Champions League? Do you think the
No,
quality
I
in the
don't.
league is so low that the CL is maybe a step up too big for them?
I don't think
I
the
don't know.
quality's dropped at all, though, Dan. I don't think the
Yeah,
quality's dropped at all. I think the league's just got harder, and there's more teams battling it out over the thing. They're only saying this. Let's be real, and I'm sorry to go back and say it all about Arsenal, is because we're scoring from set pieces, you know,
yeah,
everything like that. There's an agenda to push there. They want to add weight to their agenda by bringing everybody else into it. It is what it is. I don't think the quality has dropped. I think yeah, all right. Champions League. It's a knockout tournament. Anything can happen. Let's be honest. Were we expecting Tottenham to do anything there? Probably not. Were Newcastle favourites against Barcelona? Probably not. Let's be
yeah,
honest. Like, you know, I think City gave a really poor account for themselves. I mean, I don't that they could have scored so many goals. That
mm,
Bernardo Silva sending off as well has just absolutely trumped them, and they've got no chance of coming back in the game there. But
yeah,
again. it's still Real Madrid, you know. It's the Galacticos. It's not a given. I mean, I know we dealt with them last year as well, but again, let's be honest, that could have gone either way if they put their chances away. So
Yeah.
I just think the quality's still there. I don't think the Champions League is just the Champions League. It's the European competition that everybody wants to be in until you get
Mm,
knocked out. Then everyone wants to say differently. And Newcastle probably haven't got the squad to go up and compete with, above Barcelona or any other of those teams that they could have got out in that draw. I don't think
yeah.
they've invested well enough to probably call themselves a Champions League team. It's facts. I don't think that they are. Spurs, again, are only there on merit for what they did last year. They wouldn't be
Mm,
there otherwise.
yeah.
Let's be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah, they shouldn't be there. That's a good point.
Yeah,
Like, if you look at the Spurs squad, they are not Champions League players, not whatsoever.
not at
And
all.
to be up against the likes of like Julian and Alvarez, who's been incredible this season, the inevitable was happening. But it was a bit of an alarming week for the Premier League, really. Like we saw us qualify. I kind of expected it to. Like, yeah, I agree. We got the easier side of the draw, and we have done next time out as well in the quarterfinals. Um, but yeah, Newcastle, Tottenham, Man City, and Chelsea all knocked out, conceding 28 goals across their legs in total. I mean, that's just mind-boggling alone.
I don't think we
Chelsea,
haven't touched on Chelsea hard enough there either. For that
yeah.
account,
So
for it to be
we,
8-2 is
yeah, I mean,
absolutely disgusting.
like, I
Remember when
tried to,
we were there back in the days, the Bayerns,
yeah,
the
yeah.
Barca's, etc., and
I
stuff like that
tried
lot.
to. Well, they nearly broke our record. Um, Chelsea, I try not to. You try not to take to keep your rival hat on, but then you're there thinking all the stick Arsenal were given over the years and how bad some of our results were, and I agree they were bad. For Chelsea to go and play PSG and get thumped back to back, home and away legs, I don't know. I don't really know what's gone on there. And the amount of money they've spent as well, they've spent billions of pounds. They're a £1 billion spending club. And
Yeah,
I don't even know what the expectation is for them anymore because it can't be the league. I can't remember the last time they were in a league title chasing position. Is it top
the most
four?
excitement their fans are getting, mate, is the manager roulette that they keep doing.
Yeah,
Simple as that.
is it like if they get top four and say an FA Cup, they've got Port Vale in the cup, so that will be that should really be in their hand into a step into the semi-final. Say they get top four in FA Cup, is that satisfactory for a club that spent as much as them? If it is, what's the expectation for other clubs? Because they have
Mm,
spent more money than a lot of clubs combined, to be honest. And I'll say this for Chelsea, and I'll say this for everyone else, Liverpool included. They're the same. They're probably looking at a similar position this season. I just don't know. I don't know how you can get away with spending that much money and not face consequences for real success.
yeah.
And what is real success for a club like that?
Well, they had
But
a
yeah,
real opportunity, didn't they, with that Club World Cup? They
yeah.
could have gone out there, smashed a bit of recruited as well, and been like, all right, let's act on this. But you can tell that the ownership aren't about that.
Yeah, 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 and obviously, I mean, they lost to Newcastle at home as well. Like, there's that much going wrong for them. I'm actually forgetting results that's happening. So they've had a back-to-back defeat from PSG, and then within that, they've lost at home to let's be honest, a mid
Yeah.
Newcastle squad. That has
Well,
not been the Newcastle team we have seen for a very long time. And obviously, United beat Villa, so it's all got very tight now. I think for me, it's all in United's hands for Europe, and Carrick is laughing because it just goes to show how the fact that Chelsea have lost, Liverpool have dropped points to Tottenham, and they're still somehow in a race. Like
yeah,
even Villa are still up there. They've just fallen off the bandwagon completely. Like from January, I think they have just completely. Well, we said it as well. We said when we
yeah.
started doing this again that Villa will drop points and they'll sort of fall out of it. They're still up there. They're still in top four, and that shows you that everyone's kind of like it's happening all around. Everyone's just all not consistent enough. I think the only teams are us and well, you can't even really say Man City now because they're starting to drop points here or there. But we're going to wrap it up with some predictions, and I want to get first we'll do because we are touching on top four. I'm going to get your top six. So I want to get who you think is going to finish first to six. So that's obviously including the Europa League spot as well, and obviously 5 places go to Premier League this year.
Premier League, yeah. Um, I'll back us. So I'll go first Arsenal, second City. This one is probably just due to their recent form, I'll go United, Liverpool, Villa, Chelsea.
Yeah, that's
I feel
interesting.
like, yeah, I think Villa, like I said, all the hard work they have done this season will just keep them in a mix around the Liverpool and the Chelsea mark. So I think, and I don't see realistically Brentford being strong enough to kind of put themselves in the mix. I know there's what 3 points between Brentford and Chelsea, I believe, might be two. I'm not sure, but yeah, that's how I see it. I really do. I don't know about you.
I've gone the exact same actually.
Have you? Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, I think United. I think they're quite strong now. They've got a flow going. I think you can see Fernandez is just having the season of his life. I touched on that a few weeks ago, and to be honest, he's just kept going. He's got the team going as well. I feel like they're confident, and yeah, I think they'll. I think United are staying put 100%. So I think yeah, Arsenal, Man City, United third. I think the fourth is quite tricky. Um, Look, I'm going to go off what I saw from Liverpool against Galatasaray, and I'm going to back them to get fourth. I think
Mm,
they looked really good in the Champions League, and sometimes a result like that can have a huge impact on what you do afterwards. And I just think that might help them push through to get Europe, and it's make or break for Onslaught as well. If he doesn't get that top four, I mean, he could be out anyway. Um, if he doesn't get top four, the fans have had it with him for
yeah,
sure.
I think that is the stone, mate. Like
Yeah.
if that's the benchmark.
Fifth, I will go Villa. Sixth, Chelsea. And I know you touched on Brentford. I just want to mention, I really hope Brentford do get Conference League because they deserve something this year. They have been absolutely incredible. Like
Yeah.
to think they lost their two, you know, absolute shining stars of Mbumo and Wissa and a manager and Frank, and they've still sat in a top eight position for pretty much the whole season. Brentford deserves something, man. I know it's quite
Yeah.
close with them and Everton, and I know seventh isn't perfect, but it's something for them. Conference League would be a huge boast and probably give them something to work with as well. I imagine the board would turn around and say, right, you got that to think about now. Here's some money. Um, but yeah, bottom three. I feel like this is quite hard actually. I think
Well, you
two's
got.
easy.
I feel like you got the two certains.
Two certains. So you're just basically. I mean, I was looking around it this morning when we were talking offline about like basically talking about this, and it's not as small. There's not just two or three teams realistically there now, because I'll go with mine first, and I'll come to you and see like what your thoughts are on it. I think, like you said earlier, I'd like to say Spurs are going to go down, but I think they've got enough quality, and I think the run of games they've got left is probably enough to push them over the line. Still an awful season for them, and I think they still need to, get in a boardroom and find out who their next manager is going to be because Tudor's obviously not the man for
Why
the
are there
future.
fans? Let's touch on this. I just one thing I don't understand is we've done it many, many times and stuff. We've been unhappy, not sunk to the depths that they're currently in. Why is there no noise around that club?
Yeah,
Why?
I think
Why are
everyone's
they
just
not
given
doing
up. I
anything?
think, well, you think, like, I think, in fact, Dale mentioned it a few weeks ago how, like, people need to be realistic about the expectation of Tottenham. And I think the problem is they've now been in the position of 17th this season. I think they're just in the wars. I think they're drained. I think Tottenham fans just have no belief anymore. And I think they just kind of
Accepted it, you
expect the
think?
worst, and when they get something good, there isn't much to be lifted about. I think they're just like, okay, I'm happy, but I think
It's
they're just
crazy.
kind of so used to the disappointment that they're getting. And that's not me saying as an Arsenal fan, that's me speaking just in football in general. I think Tottenham have been that bad recently, and to be honest, last season, that fans are just used to it. And I think they're drained of putting all their efforts and noise and trying to build an atmosphere. I think they're fed up, and they've not had things go their way. They've lost God knows how many players this season to injuries, suspensions. But yeah, I think they're still going to somehow survive. That's not successful whatsoever.
Yeah.
And yeah, they do need to recuperate and look at the squad and think, right, who's staying, who's going. Definitely need to work on that defense. We've spoke about Van der Ven, but he's even starting to show signs of
Well, yeah. Let's touch on
uncertainty.
that. Let's touch on that because there was the links of him going to Madrid, etc., and stuff like that. Lot. I would look at his attitude and his performances and be like, I ain't touching that.
Yeah.
you know.
I think he's going to be a hard sale this summer. I imagine they will. I don't know what way. I don't know what way they'll go because if they get rid of Romero, you can't just
Do you
replace
see
your
one
two
of them
centre
going at
back.
least?
Yeah, one of them's got to go at
Who's
least.
worth more?
I'd say Van de Ven's got to be worth more, just
Mm,
purely on Romero's reputation. I don't give them monkeys if you've won a World Cup. You cannot act the way you act, and have the reputation you have and be the way you are without consequences or without people getting that sort of judgment on you. I think Romero's just. I, I, I personally wouldn't even pay 20 million for him at the moment.
yeah.
And I can't believe I'm saying that about him because once upon a time he was a very good defender. But I think his time at Tottenham has really, really ruined him. Um,
I
and
can see
yeah,
him going somewhere else, mate. Spain, somewhere
yeah,
like that.
and I think the problem is if you get rid of two centre backs, you're opening a can of worms because you've got to basically completely gel your entire back line together. And you've got
I
to
think
have
that
that.
Dragiston done all right for them though when he stepped in.
Wow, I mean, he's
But
another
best about
problem.
a bad bunch. Let's be honest. Like
Yeah,
at the
like
moment, I'm not saying he's
he,
great.
he he's he is the best of a bad. He's like he's a rose in a thorn's nest, and I'm being really generous then, because he's still like even against us he was terrible, but he has looked all right in pieces. But yeah, if you get rid of your two centre halves, you then got to think about the effect it has on the goalkeeper, the effect it has on your centre midfielders and your fullbacks and so on. They're going to need. I think they're going to need to keep one, and they've got to be realistic. It's going to be as hard for them to sell players as it is for them to buy players
Mm,
because Tottenham are not an attractive club anymore whatsoever. Then they've got no Europe next season. They're going to come from a position of being around the bottom six, shall we say, 2 seasons running. Who on earth's going to want to go there? Hungry
yeah, I
enough
just
to,
think
to deliver on the plate. It's just not going to
they've
happen.
probably got the one thing going for them is that the stadium, and they might, if they get the financial shackles released, they probably
Yeah,
could afford whoever they want. But
yeah.
you're
I
right.
think I think they're going to need to. They're going to need to look at themselves in the eye and take a massive hit and look at one of their players that is a bit more attractable, probably can get money from, and they might need to just be like, you know what, it's a
Yeah,
bad move, but we need to
reset.
do it for the sake of the football club. Yeah, I don't know who that would be, but there's someone there. They're going to need to think, right, we can get money from him. Let's sell him. Strike while the iron is hot, because at the end of the day, there's so much work there to do. You can't you can't put all your eggs in one basket. You can't just be like, oh, he's good, we need to keep him. They need a lot of money to rebuild that squad. And I mean, all over the park. Even that midfield is atrocious.
Yeah,
Madison, you don't know how he's going to come back. I don't think it will be a good Madison coming back because he's had so long out. People
long
like
time.
Gallagher and Sarr, I mean, I've said it before, they need to get better. But yeah, I think going back to the bottom three, Wolves, Burnley, sir. I think even though Wolves have looked like they've got a bit of fight left in them, it's just too late. They got the draw at Brentford on Monday night. It's too late for those sort of results, and you need wins. And yeah, they're, I mean, they're playing well, and they're still 12 points off the 17th spot. So I think them and
Three,
Burnley,
yeah, 3 wins out of 31 for them.
yeah, it's just not
Like
enough,
you
is
don't
it?
see
Like
any more coming.
they're getting good draws, but who cares about draws? I think Burnley, they haven't even shown any fight. Like I'll give Wolves some credit. Burnley just look ready to go. Um, and I
Stick your
actually
neck
can
on the
see,
line. Stick your neck on the line. Do what you think is right. Go on.
I can actually see Leeds falling off. To be honest,
Okay.
I've got this weird thought in me that because they're not far off the drop, and they've got some hard games. They go to Tottenham themselves. It's going to be a massive game. West Ham's their last game of the season, and they play United and Wolves in April.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, you know what? I think it'll be down to West Ham and Leeds. I'm going to go West Ham still, but I don't. I think Forest and Spurs could come out of the race. I think Leeds and West Ham could be the. I think that final game of the season between West Ham and Leeds might be the crunch time.
Yeah.
Winner stays, loser goes. Um,
Giving
yeah, and to
Spurs a
be
lot of
honest,
credit then.
I wouldn't worry. Leeds would be a shame. They've got a good squad. I
Mm,
quite like Daniel Farke as well. What he's done there, I think he's really done some things there. Um, and they don't deserve to go down. Like if I'm looking at teams that deserve to go down, Leeds probably not one of them. Forest have played some awful football this season. Probably do deserve to go. Like they just have a lot of shots but don't score goals realistically. I know they went through last night, but in the Premier League, they've just been a bit.
yeah, they have.
Other than that City game, they haven't really showed much. But yeah, Wolves, Burnley, and West Ham. I'm gonna stick with that. Leeds maybe. Um, I don't know why, but I've just got this funny feeling Leeds might come back into, because I remember them being like 9 points off the drop, and now they're completely falling down again, and it's like you're
Yeah.
actually still around there now. But yeah, what's your bottom three conclusion, mate?
Similar to you, I've gone Wolves, Burnley, and I'm going to completely contradict what I said the whole of this pod, but I'm just doing it on blind faith, and I'm going to go Spurs.
Ooh, yeah, it'd be interesting.
Someone's got to do it, and also, like I said, I think there's part of me saying I think they've got enough. Part of me is going with my heart and saying, oh, it would be great if they go down, etc. and stuff. But yeah, you can't be in that position for 2 years in a row and then not expect to be in a relegation fight. They're just riding off pure hope.
Yeah. Question: is there any players from that Spurs squad you would take if they go down?
No,
It's just an interesting.
just flat
I'm
out
gonna.
no.
Yeah, it's just. I was in a group chat the other day, and it just got brought up.
No, like I said, I
No one
don't
said yes.
any
I
of
was
them.
just like, Jesus Christ, this is when you know it's bad. Like, if you look at West Ham, there's probably a player or two you might take.
Yeah,
Forest, I probably would take a player or two from them actually. Um, Maybe not at Arsenal, but I could see them at other Premier League clubs. Um, Definitely not Arsenal, in fact. But there's players at West Ham, Forest, Leeds that I can maybe see somewhere. Tottenham at the moment, I just look and I think they all just look a bit lost and out
yeah.
of shape. And um, but yeah, well, I think we'll wrap it up with that. Oh, score prediction. You didn't give me one for Man City on Sunday. You're going to the game, so you've got to give me a score prediction.
Oh, it's going to be a tight affair, I think. I can see it going to extra time, to be fair, because just of how it all going. But I mean, obviously, I don't want it to. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Arsenal after extra time.
Oh, God help. You're going to need to get on them beers early.
Mate, flipping heck, I'm tell you, I'm going to have to.
Yeah, if it's extra time, I would not like that. I've been there, done that at Wembley with extra time, and yeah, that won't be ideal. But yeah, hope you have a good time, bud.
Thank
Thank you
you,
to
mate.
everybody that has tuned in. I'm going to go 2-1 as well, by the way. Late winner. I think it's going to be similar to an Everton game where it's a bit tight, and then I think it will unfold in the second half. I think we'll score, they'll score. I'd like to say a super Max Dowman moment again, but I just can't see that happening. I'm gonna have faith in Gyökeres. He needs a goal, and he
Does.
scored. He scored on Saturday, and I feel like finals this is a good time to make a name for yourself. But yeah, thanks to everybody that has tuned in. Make sure you smash the like button and hit the subscribe if you are new. Stay safe, take care, have a good weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.
See you later.